Avoid a car with such problems. What do I mean? A car that has the oil on the air filter. Quite a number of reasons could result into this, but the first one and the most common one is what we call a clogged PCV. Sorry about that one, this one is not writing. Let me just switch this one. PCV. What does PCV mean? PCV means for positive crankcase ventilation. Here I've got an illustration, and kindly don't mind my drawing, you all know I'm not good at drawing. Here we've got our engine. Here is the piston, right? Then over here we've got our spark plug. Yeah, I know it looks something like that. Here we've got what we call the PCV, and over here we've got what we call a one-way valve. Here is our air filter. So what happens is this. On our pistons, they come with 3 rings. 1, 2, 3. 2 rings are what we call compression rings. I'm going to write them as CR, compression rings, and the one on the lower side is what we call the oil ring. The purpose of the compression ring is to prevent the air-fuel mixture from finding its way into the crankcase. What you have over here is the crankcase that's also inclusive of the oil sump. So, if the 2 piston rings are worn out, the compression rings, then it means that the air-fuel mixture will find its way into the crankcase, resulting to a lot of pressure. Now, the purpose of the PCV is to relieve the pressure that is in the crankcase, but up to a certain magnitude. If there's a lot of pressure, then it simply means that a lot of pressure will be coming up, carrying all the oil particles all the way up, and now the oil vapor may find its way into the air filter, resulting into such a scenario. Now, that reason is not just the positive VCV, but also worn out piston rings. Now, when it comes to a pre-purchase inspection, we may not be able to remove the air filter because our inspection is what we call non-invasive. How do we tell that it's worn out? The first thing we do is remove the dipstick. If you realize that there's a lot of oil that is getting thrown out from the dipstick area, tells you that there's a lot of compression in the crankcase, which can only pinpoint to worn out piston rings. Number 2, we also open the oil filler cap. When you open the oil filler cap and a lot of oil is being thrown out, telling you there's a lot of pressure in the crankcase, which pinpoints to worn out piston rings. And that is not a car that you can, you really should go for. That's a no-go zone. Other reasons is what we'd call maybe turbo issues. And by turbo issues, I mean worn out seals. We all know in the turbo there are seals, and then if they're worn out, oil leaks from them. Another thing that can result into such a scenario is maybe if overfilling of oil. When you overfill engine oil, then it will result into this. But before we come to the conclusion that the piston rings are worn out, we always confirm the oil levels that are in that car. Anyway, it's always good before you buy a car, ensure that you're going for a car that gives value for your money. For any pre-purchase inspection, kindly WhatsApp us on 0729 68 66 46.